If you love making amazing, unique crafts, then this video is for you. Hi y'all, and welcome to Daily Dose of DIY. My name is Chris, your guide to making amazing Cricut crafts. And today we could technically get away without even using our Cricut, but this craft is so adorable and so unique. It is an absolute must make this year. You can use your Cricut to cut some of the pieces for this busted canvas if you so choose, but you can also just use your scissors or a paper cutter. The most amazing thing is you can make these in whatever theme you want. They are so fun and so stinking cute. Let's jump in and check out all the supplies we'll need to make these. Okay, to make the busted canvas, you are going to need a canvas. I'm using an 8x8 canvas. You're also going to need a blank flat piece of wood. I did not have any that was square, but you can usually find this even at Dollar Tree or any craft store. So I cut some. I did have some Cricut Chip Board, so instead of running to buy more things, I'm gonna cut my square out of chipboard. You'll need pattern paper if you want to do the outside and a pattern as well. Now this one I did both pattern paper on the inside and outside. The one I'm doing today, it has pattern paper on the outside and a napkin, which we're going to get to in just a second, on the inside layer. And this one I only used one, and that was a napkin on the inside. I didn't do anything to the outside canvas other than scruff it up with some paint to give it that like vintage look. So the choice is yours on that one, but for today we are using a pattern paper for the outside. So I will show you how to do that. And the inside was actually done with this napkin. So I'm going to show you how to use napkins to get designs on it, which is really fun. And it is a napkin that is on the inside of the busted canvas too. And that's what we're going to add to our board. And we're going to put the napkin behind it, the paper on front. We're going to do all of that with DecoArt Decoupage mat. You'll need a brush for that as well. You're also going to need some white paint, your hot glue gun. I got my cordless one here. You're going to need a mini heat press or one of those little small craft irons. And down stuffed in here, I've got some parchment paper, super important. You're also going to need scissors and tape. Technically, you don't even need your Cricut for this project, but I did use my Cricut to cut my pattern paper 8x8 so it matches my canvas, because you know I can't cut straight at all. So I will show you how to do that as well. Let's jump in and get started. Open Design Space and go to the canvas. On the left menu, select the shapes and then select the square. On the top menu, you can change the size of the square to match your canvas size. If you are using a rectangle canvas, click the Unlock button before you enter your sizes. Then click the Make It button. On the mat screen, click Continue, and I'm going to cut my pattern paper using the medium cardstock setting. Load the paper onto your mat by lining it up to the top and side and then smoothing it down. Insert your mat into your Cricut and press the flashing arrow button. Next, press the flashing C button to make it start. After your Cricut has finished cutting, press the flashing arrow again to unload your mat. Be sure to flip your mat over and remove your mat from the paper so it doesn't tear or curl. Next, I'm going to prep my wood board by painting it white. Decoupaging napkins works best on a white background, much like sublimation does. So I'm going to get a nice even white coat of paint. If your wood is darker like this chipboard, it might take 2 coats. Let me know in the comments if you've ever done decoupage napkins before. There's a whole website dedicated to selling just napkins for decoupage, and I'll be sure to link them up to you in the description as well. Allow the paint to completely dry and then put an even layer of the decoupage glue on it. Set that aside to let it dry. While we're waiting for our wood to dry and our decoupage glue is out, let's go ahead and prep the canvas. Start on the back side and add a good even coat of the decoupage glue. You'll need to put this on a little thicker, but at the same time you don't want globs of glue either. Make sure it's an even coat. Once the back side is coated, flip it over and add a good thick coat to the front. Again, you'll need a good amount, but try to keep it even and smooth. Now while our canvas is drying, we can go back to the wood board, which should be dry by now. Set your mini press to medium setting to get it preheated. I'm going to use this Christmas trunk napkin, and the first thing we need to do is cut off one of the panels of the napkin. Most napkins are 2 or 3 ply, and we don't want those extra plies, so at one of the corners try to get them separated. This can be a bit tricky, but a piece of Scotch tape works great if you can't get it apart. Simply put a piece of tape on the corner and the ply will lift right off. But you need to be careful about sticking your tape to the front of the napkin because the napkin will tear when you remove the tape. I totally should have stuck it to the back. Next, center the design on your board and cover it with parchment paper. Then, starting in the center, gently iron out to the edges all around the design. Remove the parchment paper and give the design a minute to cool off. It should be smooth as silk. It's like it just melts to the wood. If there are any rough patches or areas that didn't stick, go over that area again with your iron. If you like this craft, don't forget to hit the like button. It helps me out tremendously. Our canvas should be dry now, so we can go back to working on that. I'm going to start on the top with the pattern paper. We already have a coat of decoupage glue on the canvas, so I'm going to center up my paper and cover it with the parchment. Use the same method. Start in the center with your mini iron and work your way out. Also go over the edges and make sure the corners get heated as well. Remove the parchment paper and see if there are any areas that didn't stick. With paper, you'll be able to see an air pocket under the paper if it's not stuck to the canvas. Go over any areas that didn't stick again. Now let's get our napkin ready for the back of the canvas. I'm going to cut out a panel of the napkin and stick a piece of tape to the back of the napkin this time to remove the 2 layers of ply. You might want to put a piece of parchment paper on your table just in case, and then flip your canvas over. Center up the napkin on the back of the canvas and cover with parchment paper and press it down. I'm going to go over the edges of the paper with decoupage glue one more time to make sure they are good and stuck down. Now we're ready to bust our canvas. Grab a craft knife and slice a hole in the center of your canvas. If you're not good at eyeballing it, grab a tape measure and a pencil so you can mark the center. Slice a hole in the opposite direction as well, so you end up with a cross. Grab your scissors and cut from the hole up until you just about hit the canvas wood. Go back to the center and make another cut at a different angle. Do this all around the canvas at different angles. I made 8 cuts total. Next, flip the flaps up so you can get a glimpse of how amazing this is going to look. I'm going to grab my wood panel and put it behind the canvas and see if I need to make any more cuts in order to see the design better. I think it's all looking good, so now we're ready to finish up. Grab your hot glue gun and flip the canvas over and glue the wood panel to the back of the canvas. After the glue sets, flip the canvas back over to hot glue the flaps. Place the hot glue on the back of one of the flaps and then fold it back onto the front of the canvas. Hold in place until the glue sets and then repeat for the next flap. I didn't hold my first flap long enough, and this step is a finger burner, so I'm going to grab my scissors to help hold it in place. Repeat this process all around the canvas, folding and gluing each flap back onto the front of the canvas. Y'all, how stinking cute is that? You can finish up your busted canvas with some embellishments and a bow if you would like. My Christmas embellishments are so severely lacking at the moment, but I did find these little pine cones I'll add for now. It looks like I'll have a good excuse to head to Hobby Lobby for some pine branches and more supplies. Thanks again for making these busted canvases with me today. I cannot wait to see what you make. Be sure to like and subscribe for more fun Cricut crafts and tutorials. God bless.